Hi everyone, and today I would like to present my presentation, syntax project. Hold on a second. Let me just correct first. Um, how about we just trade up? How about we just continue with the presentation and don't mind the typo? How about we just continue with my presentation? Deep and surface structure. In transformational engineering grammar, deep structure, also known as deep grammar or D structure, is the underlying syntactic structure or level of sentence. In contrast to surface structure, the outward form of sentence, deep structure is an abstract representation that identifies the way a sentence can be analyzed and interpreted. Deep structure are driven by phrase structure rules, and surface structure are derived from deep structure by a series of transformations. Deep and surface structure according to expert. According to the Oxford Dictionary of English Grammar 2014, deep and surface structure are often used as terms in a simple binary opposition, with deep structure representing meaning and the surface structure being the actual sentence we see. The term deep structure and surface structure were popularized in the 1960s and 70s by American linguist Noam Chomsky, who eventually discovered the concept in his middle program in 1990. Properties of deep structure. Deep structure is a level of syntactic representation where a number of properties that need not necessarily go together. Four important properties of deep structure are major grammatical realizations such as subject of and object of are defined at deep structure. All lexical insertion occurs at deep structure. All transformation occur after deep structure. Semantic interpretation occur at deep structure. The question whether there is a single level of representation with this property was the most debated question in generative grammar following the publication of an aspect of the theory of syntax, 1965. One part of the debate focused on whether transcription preserved meaning. Alan Graham's Psycholinguistics and Developing Psychological Press, 1985. Example and observation. Don Chomsky had identified a basic grammatical structure in syntactic structure 1957 that refer to as kernel sentences. Reflecting mentally, kernel sentences were words and meaning persevere in a complex cognitive process that resulted in an utterance. In the aspect theory of syntax 1965, Chomsky embedded the notion of kernel sentence and identified the underlying constituent of sentence as deep structure. The deep structure was versatile insofar as it accounted for meaning and provided the basis for transformation that turned deep structure into surface structure, which represented what we actually hear or read, the information role. Therefore, connected deep structure and surface structure, meaning and syntax. James D. William, The Teacher of Grammar Book, Lawrence Arbol, 1999. Deep structure is a representation of the syntax of a sentence distinguished by varying criteria from the surface structure. In the surface structure of children are hard to please. The subject is children, and the infinitive to please is the complement of hard. But in its deep structure, especially in the early 1970s, its hard will have a subject, a subordinate sentence, in which children is the object of please, thus in outline, please children is heart. PHI, Matthew, The Conquest, Oxford Dictionary of Linguistics, Oxford University Press, 2007. Evolving Perspective on Deep Structure. The remarkable first chapter of Noam Chomsky's aspect of the theory of syntax set the agenda for everything that has happened in generative linguistics since. Three theoretical pillars for the enterprise: mentalism, combinatoriality, and acquisition. A fourth major point of aspect, and one of that attracted most attention from the wider public, concerned the notion of deep structure. A basic claim of the 1965 version of generative grammar was that, in addition to a surplus form of sentence forming here, there is another level of syntactic structure called deep structure, which express underlying syntactic modalities of sentence. For instance, a passive sentence like 1A was claimed to have deep structure in which noun phrases are the oral connecting active 1B. 1A, the bear was chased by the lion. 1B, the lion chased the bear. Similarly, a questionnaire 2A was claimed to have deep structure closely resembling that of the corresponding declarative 2B. Which martini did Harry drink? 2A. 2B, Harry drank that martini. Following a hypothesis first proposed by Cass and Postel, 1964, Aspect made the striking claim that the relevant level of syntax for determining meaning is deep structure. In its weakest version, this claim was only that legalities of meaning are most directly encoded in deep structure, and this can be seen in 1 and 2. However, the claim was sometimes taken to imply much more, that deep structure is meaning, an interpretation that Chomsky did not at first discard. It was part of generative linguistics that got everyone really excited. But if the technique of conventional grammar could lead us to meaning, we'll be in a position to uncover the nature of human thought. When the dust of linguistic war cleared around 1973, Chomsky had won as usual for a twist. He no longer claimed that deep structure was the sole level that determined meaning. Chomsky, 1972. And then, with the battle over, he turned his attention not to meaning but to relative technical constraint on the movement transformation. Chomsky, 1973-1977. Ray Jackendoff, Language Conscious Culture, Essay on Mental Structure, MIT Press, 2007. Surface structure and deep structure in a sentence. Considered by some of Joseph Conrad's short story, The Seeker's Terror. Walking to the top rail, I was in time to make out, on the very edge of darkness, thrown by a towering black mass like the very gateway of Erebus. Yes, I was in time to catch an evanescent glimpse of my white hat left behind to mark the spot where the secret share of my cabin and of my thought, as though he were my second self, had lowered himself to the water to take his punishment, a free man, a prosumer, striking out for a new destiny. I hope others will agree that sentence justly represent its author, that it portray mind energetically stretching to subdue a dazzling experience outside the self. In a way, he has innumerable counterpart elsewhere. How does continuity of this structure support this intuition? First, notice as matter of emphasis of rhetoric, dramatic sentence which lend a surplus principle is hashtag as hashtag I was in time hashtag as hashtag repeated twice. The immediate instant that complete are I walked to the top rail, I made out plus and B, and I caught plus and P. The point of departure then is the narrator himself, where he was, what he did, what he saw. But a glance at the deep structure will explain why one feels quite different emphasis in sentence as a whole. 7 of the embedded sentences have sharer as grammatical subject. Another 3 is a subject is a noun, linked to sharer by the copula in 2. Sharer's direct object, and 2 more share is the verb. Thus, 13 sentences go to semantic development of sharer as follows. The secret sharer had lowered the secret sharer into the water. The secret sharer took his punishment. The secret sharer swam. The secret sharer was the swimmer. The swimmer was so proud. The swimmer struck out for a new destiny. The secret sharer was the man. The man was free. The secret sharer was my secret self. The secret sharer had it. Someone punched the secret sharer. Someone shared my cabin. Someone shared my thought. In a fundamental way, the sentence is mainly about Leggett, although substructure indicate otherwise. The progression in deep structure rather precisely mirrors both the rhetorical movement of the sentence from narrative to get via the head that links them and the thematic effect of the sentence, which is to transform Leggett experience to narrator via the narrator, vicarious and actual participation in it. Here I shall leave this rhetorical analysis with cautionary work. I do not mean to use that only an explanation of the structure reveal conversical skillful emphasis on the country such as examination support and instead explained by any careful reader of the sort notice. Richard M. Holman, Lecture a Sentence, College English, 1966, reprinted in Essay in Semantic Analysis at by Howard S. Babb, Harcourt, 1972. That is all from my presentation. Thank you for watching and pay attention.